Monday. What is up, people? Rocking out in there. I see you, Ken. Bouncing around.
Doing the Angus Shuffle.
How can you not? I love watching. Do you ever go on and watch reaction videos? So you got.
I probably do. I just don't know what they're called.
Like you've got people who sometimes are like hardcore, like super country people, and they'll be listening to rap, and they're like, "What's this?" And then you got brothers and sisters or opera people that never heard of really AC/DC, and they'll see them, especially them live in River Plate at the stadium out there, and it's just they're like, what the hell?
What's going on?
Is that how many people are out there? It's crazy.
Is that fire on stage?
Yeah, it is. And it's just, and the River Plate concert, if you guys have never seen it, that was like a concert to end all concerts. I don't know, maybe 150,000 people.
Wow.
And watching them control the crowd, but when it gets to this part where it's, you've been thunderstruck, and then and watching everybody up, it looks like the whole world is going up and down. It's just awesome.
So cool.
And watching people react to it's hilarious. You know, opera singers are like, what the hell's this guy's voice? But then she sees, okay, it's not my music, but he's got command of his stuff. That's a good thing. Speaking of command, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Job numbers were not good on Friday.
What?
Or in April and May. They weren't not. It will suck.
President Trump pledging to announce a new head for the Bureau of Labor Statistics after he fired Commissioner Erica McIntyre on Friday, claiming without evidence that the latest jobs numbers were manipulated to make him look bad.
We had no confidence. I mean, the numbers were ridiculous.
But he has yet to provide any concrete evidence of that. The president's top economic advisors adamant Trump isn't shooting the messenger in the wake of the poor jobs report. But they say he does want his own appointee in place.
Go ahead, get your own appointee. How am I supposed to take your own employee serious, though? If it's somebody you appoint, and how do we take anybody seriously? Because this is modern politics. Like gerrymandering, we've been talking about it. All the guys guys and gals from Texas are fleeing to, Illinois.
Chicago and New York.
Yeah. So it's gerrymandering. You know what gerrymandering is? Depends on what side of the aisle you're on. If you drew the maps, that's redistricting. If you're the one they drew on, that's gerrymandering.
That's gerrymandering.
Yeah.
It switches.
It does. It always has. And it's the same thing here. It's like you're going to have ups and downs. And these things they're not perfect because you don't get all the data and you don't get the information the way you should. They should, first of all, they come out with it too fast. If you're going to do a July report, you know when that should come out? September 1st. That way you have a month to work on it. But they push it out. They want it out fast. And Trump's like, oh, it's because look at all the bad stuff that she's done in the past. And she tried to do this and she tried to do that. And yeah, the last one, it was a mess. She was the messenger, by the way.
And if you remember, just before the election, this woman came out with these phenomenal numbers on Biden's economy. Phenomenal numbers. And then right after the election, they announced that those numbers were wrong. And that's what they did the other day. So it's a scam, in my opinion.
There you go. Fire everybody. Make them take math classes. Find out how they're getting the information. That's the other thing.
Make them take math classes.
Everybody, you got to go to math class. What? Yep, math class. But where are you getting your numbers from? How are you getting your numbers? Are they coming in all at once? Are they coming in, sporadically? Because if those are questions that are fair to ask. And this is mostly for the market. This isn't for you and I. You know if things are going well in your neighborhood, in your city, in your state. You can get a sense of that. You drive by restaurants that are super busy and they're empty, a little worry there. You go to the store and there's not a lot of people there making big purchases. They're making small, tiny purchases. They're putting stuff back. You recognize that. But if I was him, by the way, and the other thing is, take a deep breath. Do it next week. Do it 3 weeks from now when nobody's paying attention. Because then what it does is it causes chaos, which I know he enjoys. I mean, let's be real. He does enjoy it. We'd be lying if we didn't say he kind of likes a little bit of chaos. Just a smidge. And that's what I would have done. If you're going to do it then. And if you're going to put somebody in there that you want, I think it's a fair question to go, well, how should we trust anybody's numbers? And if the numbers aren't good, are you afraid to deliver them to them? So we don't get the truth because it's hard to come by. It's data. I don't think this lady did this to him on purpose. I think she was the messenger, and she's gone. Even his old guy that was the chief of the Bureau of Labor Statistics said, this is something you don't do. This is something you don't do. But he did it. Meanwhile, from there, we moved to a place where Texas is redistricting, if you guys are not paying any attention. The redistricting thing in Texas is interesting. I know we've talked about it here. Everybody's fled. They went to Chicago and they went to New York. And they'll be welcome there because they're sanctuary cities for redistrictors. They're going to be there till the 15th. And here's the way I look at redistricting. Everybody does it. Gerrymandering, redistricting, depends who's drawing it. Texas, the Democrats really have no power. California, they have no power. They don't. Every state now is looking to figure out how they can do it. Some states much tougher than others in doing this. This is going to happen. It's going to happen in Texas. I mean, it is. Do I think it's a good thing? No. It's the timing that's the issue. So normally when you redistrict, it is you wait for the census. We already had the census. Then you draw up the new lines and you go from there. This is much different. Trump made a call and said, hey, you guys are leaving a lot out there. There's 5 more that you guys can grab.
Governor Greg Abbott is condemning this move for Democrats to flee the state. He's accusing them of potentially committing felonies, that they're leaving the state in an abandonment or forfeiture of an elected state office. So he's demanding they return by 3 p.m. He threatened to have them removed from office if they will. Of course, that chair of the House Democratic Caucus said Democrats are just doing what they have to do. But look, they can't stay out of this state forever. So it's unclear exactly what their next moves are.
And Abbott's threatening to see what he can do to fire them, which would be, again, I don't know how that works in Texas, because even he's like, I'm not sure if I can, because you're firing the will of the people, and you'd have an uprising. And on the other side of it, they've threatened before that, hey, these people should be arrested. It's derelict duty. They're bouncing. And their whole thing is, no, we're protecting democracy. It depends on what side of the aisle you're on. If you're a Republican, you probably want them to do this. I don't want them to do this. First of all, one of the things it does in a couple of these districts, you're weakening some Republicans where it's becoming a little bit more purple to try to grab 2 more. The other thing is, and this is important, if the economy's rocking and rolling and it's great next year, you've got nothing to worry about. If it sucks and it's in the bottom of the garbage pail, I have news for you. Having 5 more seats probably isn't going to get them over the line. I'd focus mostly on that. But with them being gone, they can't get anything done. And that includes stuff, and this is where the Republicans, originally, this was a special session for the nightmare that was the flood and what was going on there and what can they do and vote on stuff to help them get everything they need, especially the sirens and things of that nature. And then the other thing was THC, because as we all know, Texas doesn't like weed at all, not even the gummies.
Unless there's a quorum of 2/3 of the members in attendance, the state house can't hold any votes. So that's why the Texas Democrats packed their bags and left the state. So these new congressional maps that were set to be voted on today would give Republicans up to 5 new seats in Congress. But again, they can't go into effect until they're approved by the state legislature.
So we'll see. We'll see what they got to have 2/3. They're going to have to come back. I think 15th is the day that the quote-unquote special session is supposed to end, and then they'll come back. But what happens from there, I don't know. And they're looking at every way, shape, or form to get this done. And it's one of those things where you're making you're doing everything you can, filibustering in the best way you possibly can to get away from this. Yet you know it's coming and you can't do anything to stop it. And so you're going to have 5 new districts. And then the most important thing happens, lawsuits. Because we live in a time when it all sounds good. Let me ask all the lawyers. That's the most important person. Even when they're crafting new bills, it's all about the lawyers. What do the lawyers think? I've always said this about Obamacare. A buddy who is an expert at Obamacare said it was never written to be health care. It was written to be a law and withstand court challenges, which is what it became. Challenge after challenge after challenge after challenge. Focus on the economy, you win everything. That's the number one thing, the economy. It's the economy, stupid. I want to think the economy's doing okay. I feel like it's okay in some places. I'm still pissed about my iced tea maker. You haven't heard. So you haven't heard this.
Yeah, what happened to your iced tea maker?
So Mason, let me tell you about my iced tea maker. So the tariffs, some are in, some are out. My iced tea maker doubled in price.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I don't have a lot in my life that I look forward to. Iced tea is one of them. I work all day. I talk about stuff, right? I like to hang out with my kids, even though my little one, she don't like hanging out with Dad right now. For whatever reason. I don't know why. So her and I are butting heads a lot. But my iced tea maker, I take great. So I've got one for our house, and then I have one for our studio. But I always like to have a backup. It went from 29 to 49 in the space of a couple weeks.
Ooh.
Not happy about that.
I wouldn't.
Pissed. There's where I think this is where the economy's hit me.
That's it. Hold the election today.
This is where the economy's kick me in the grumble. Right there.
In the grumble.
Right there. Just get you a big old glass jug, Brother Chad. Stick some tea bags off in some water in the sun. Make you some sun tea.
I do like sun tea. I'm not going to, I love sun tea. I do. But, and up until we had the new studio, I didn't have a patio. So we've got a patio now. We can do that, but we don't get sun all day.
Yeah.
So, and I just like the fact that it goes so quick, man. I'm telling you, I was pissed. It's the little things, guys. I'm telling you, it's the little things.
I want my tea.
I don't drink a lot. I have a energy drink and my iced tea and some water. That's it. I'm mad as hell and I'm not taking it. We lost Johnny Fever, right? I think we lost him.
Yeah, I can see.
We lost Gordon Jump.
Gordon Jump, the big guy, Arthur Carlson.
Yeah, we've lost Lonnie now. I think, you know what, though? Man, I was always a Bailey guy.
Oh, yeah.
I liked Bailey more.
Definitely.
I loved Bailey. Ooh. Is Gary Sanders? He's still alive.
Gary Sanders is still alive. Yeah, so let's see here.
Les Nessman?
Yeah, what was his name? I can't remember what that actor's name. But from what I understand, the only 4 that have passed are Lonnie Anderson, Howard Hessman, who was Dr. Johnny Fever, Gordon Jump, who was the big guy, Arthur Carlson, and Frank Bonner, who was Herb Tarr.
Yeah, Richard Sanders played Les. He's still alive.
Good.
So,
Mr. Rodriguez.
Chai. That's Chichi Rodriguez, Les. Booger. You know why? First of all, I loved the show before I ever worked in radio because it came out in the early 80s. So I was 10. But you know this. You see, you wouldn't really understand this, Mason, because you're newish into radio in today's world with all the, giant corporations. Ken, there's no show like doctor shows, lawyer shows, cop shows. None of them are close to what radio is. Radio was pretty much that it.
I'm telling you, that show was dead on.
It was, I worked with, remember Bucky?
Yes.
The guy that was the engineer. I worked with a guy in England. Oh, man. Oh, man. That was who you say all the time. Oh, man, that's crazy, man. I've worked with people like that. Wackadoos, crazies, just nuts.
A little far out there.
A lot of far out there. Like, it was as spot on as you would get in the, like, if you want to know what radio was like back in the day when it was owned by one or two mom and pops, even in big cities, and they were, shoestring budgets, even though they made some money, they had crazy people that were working for them, radio-wise. When I worked at KRS 101, I worked with guys whose names are on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood. They're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They were nuts. They were crazy. We used to have a guy who would get, he would get power tools delivered at work. Power tools, big ones. He carried around a lunch pail with Biggie Smalls and Jean Benet. Then it got really weird when somebody walks in and goes, dude, there's a frozen cat in the refrigerator. His cat had died, and he put it in the freezer. It was nuts. These people were nuts. And then when looking back on the show, you're like, that show was exactly how that was.
Yeah.
It was exactly how that was.
The good old days.
So she passed away. She was 79. Apparently, she'd been sick for a little while.
Yeah, prolonged illness. And she was apparently very close to her 80th birthday.
It was supposed to be next week, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, as God is my witness, I thought Turkeys Could Fly, which is one of the greatest shows on television.
Dude, my favorite WKRP was when that retired wrestler and his sisters had a gospel show on Sunday mornings. The Reverend Little Ed Penbrook and the Sisters of Mercy.
That was so awesome.
And he got in tax trouble for selling Dead Sea Scrolls steak knives.
That was Trump's like, those are great. I've had some of those myself.
That's a good idea.
Extra sharp.
Do you remember the phone cops? They got their own police.
Yes.
The phone cops.
Yes.
But the one is, and that's a true story, by the way. They actually took As God is my witness, Turkeys Could Fly. They took that off of a real, I think it was in Ohio, it was an actual event. But I remember, it was really horrible. What happened was they hit the ground. First they were disoriented. Then it was like they were going to take revenge.
Oh, my God. The turkeys seem to be mounting a counterattack.
WK. Just the greatest.
RP.
That is exactly what radio was like. It's different nowadays. It is. But back in the day, I worked at the tail end of that. I started my career when there were still stations owned by singular people.
Yeah.
And it was great. And I've worked with a lot of people that are wacky. Just some crazy people that would lock the door when they'd come inside and shut everything so you couldn't see them. It was just...
Yeah, they'd close the blinds.
Yeah.
Didn't want anybody seeing them.
No, so bizarre.
And then they'd open the doors, and I mean nothing but just straight cigarette smoke would come out.
Yeah. Cigars, cigarette smoke, name it.
That was actually my control room. I smoked a whole pack during shifts.
Can't do that anymore.
No, sir.
A lot of people bummed about Lonnie Anderson. Yeah. I mean, you got to be. It was awesome. She was amazing.
Yeah, she played that character to the T, man.
You know, one of the things she said is she didn't want it. She was a brunette. She didn't want it to be Jennifer Marlowe. She didn't want any part of that. And they told her, look, the way that you're going to play this is you're going to be the smartest person at the radio station. But you're going to play the dumbest, but you are the smartest.
Right.
And she played it to the T. It was awesome. It was, and she was brilliant at it. And it's it's when people that you grew up watching start passing away, like shows that like made an impact in your life, you're like, oh. And that was she was one of my first pretend girlfriends. Who didn't love her? I mean, I was still more a Bailey fan, but yeah, you can't not love.
No, she was gorgeous.
Yeah. She married Stroker Ace.
Stroker Ace.
She married Gator.
That's right.
Oh, for those of you who don't know, Burt Reynolds was Gator. He was also Quint. He was Quint, remember?
I don't remember.
In Gunsmoke.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, how many years was he on Gunsmoke?
There's not a few, and then they replaced him, right? Then they bring Chester in, kind of, like towards to like fully replace him.
Chester.
They kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh, shame. AI is here. It's not going anywhere. I'm here to tell you guys that. By the way, if you're looking for a job, don't care what it is, put AI on your resume and you watch what happens. Keep it off your resume, and it's going to be a struggle for you. It's crazy. But kids are going, you know what, screw it. I'm not going to college. I'm going to go get a career and in blue collar stuff that can't be done at this moment by AI. And even in the future, if it's done somewhat with AI, it won't be fully done with AI.
Cameron Vogelslang is an electrician in Tennessee who believes there's more to offer in blue-collar work than people think, especially with the rise of AI. But one firm found that the adoption of AI resulted in more than 10,000 lost jobs in the month of July alone. In fact, 65% of Gen Z believe their college degree will not protect them from AI-related job loss. More than half of Gen Z workers say they're now seriously considering blue-collar or skilled trade work. Vogelsang travels the country with Energize US EDU. They hope to reshape the perception of skilled trades in America.
Gen Z, while there is an opportunity and people are interested in joining the trades, there's also these stigmas that shun people away from the trades. They don't want to be unhealthy. They don't want to be overweight.
Now, I want to figure that out. So what does that mean? Wait.
Yeah.
If you become an electrician, you become unhealthy? Or that's the perception?
Right.
The perception is, it's like, could have gone to college, man. You could be in a three-piece suit, $150,000 in debt. But instead, you went with the Mountain Dew and a $100,000 a year salary, and you're fat. I think that's the way they make it seem. It's not. You can be healthy, by the way. It doesn't matter. You can be unhealthy in a suit, too. That's where kids are going. My kid, I was so proud of him when he said, Dad, I'm not going to go to college. I'm like, I'm so proud of you because I didn't save for college. Just because I didn't think you were going to go. No, I didn't want you to go. No, I did. Now I'm like, you know what? Take the money, do something else with it. But he realizes, what am I going to do? First of all, he doesn't like school. And he wants to get on with his life as an adult, even though he's young. He wants to get on with his life. And I said, that's totally cool. And he wants to go HVAC, right? Plumbing, electrical. I told him, look, dude, electrical's cool, but don't blow yourself up. Don't touch that. HVAC's great. Plumbing, everybody poops.
They do. And they're not going to stop anytime soon.
No, AI hasn't figured that one out. And one of the things, too, and there is this perception, right? So you go to a trade school and you become you get some sort of tradesman or whatever school you go to, as far as the blue collar, that somehow your $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 a year that you're making as a plumber, as an electrician, as a whatever, as a carpenter, isn't as cool as somebody's $45,000 a year working in an office. Your hands are dirty. And yeah, but you've got no debt. You're living a great life. You're free. You're not worried about the corporate rat race. And I've never understood that. And I used to be that way when I traded commodities. We'd have people that, I will tell you, there are some commodities you never trade unless you really have a good idea or you have a big bankroll. But people making money off soybeans wasn't as exciting as making money off currencies or oil or gold. Like they were going to tell their friends, I made money off gold. It's the same money. And people didn't quite get that. And they would trade and they would lose it was just bizarre. But this is something that you're going to see this more and more. Kids are making this real move towards getting out of this bizarre trap that they've been placed in their mind for the last 25 years, that college is the only thing and you'll never get ahead. Well, they're coming out. They're fighting for jobs left, right, and center. They're battling it out. They're getting paid not as much. And AI is coming in and wrecking a lot of places when it comes to the amount of people that are in these places.
But it's not just AI taking jobs. It's screening resumes and preventing people from even getting an interview. People like Derek Mobley, who was unemployed and searching for a job for 2 years.
I've, tried remote jobs, in-person jobs, different industries. And if it had the Workday branding associated with it, either I would not hear back at all, or the answer was no. There was never any maybes.
Here's the thing. First of all, if I had AI and it was looking at the resumes, can we all agree on this? The first thing I type in is, if there are pronouns, shred it. If there is anybody who studied in the humanities, throw it away. Put AI on your stuff. But this guy's like, wait a minute, I can't even get a gig at all. So now he's suing because AI is going through, and what they're doing is they're posting jobs where there may not be jobs. They're collecting resumes, and they're throwing some of the resumes away because they're stocking up for the future, whatever it may be. But they're also looking at your age. They're looking at a lot of different things, and yes, including pronouns.
Mobley filed a lawsuit claiming Workday's AI-powered hiring tools discriminated against people on age, race, and mental health.
What are the chances that someone will be rejected 100% of the time? That just didn't make sense to me, just from a common sense perspective.
Workday says Mobley's claims have no merit, but a federal judge ruled the lawsuit could go forward as a nationwide collective action focusing on discrimination in age.
As for AI, it's not going anywhere. Handshake found that the use of AI in job descriptions increased by 400% in the last 2 years.
It's the new world. And there's going to be times when, and we talk about AI a lot because it's here. I work with it every day. It's great. But I understand the fear that people have. Several of the big, like Deloitte, Touche, and several of these big companies, they are just thinning the herd with their big consultants because AI is doing their job faster. Maybe we need AI to do the jobs. How about that? To do the jobs for Trump so we can find out what the jobs are. But you got to give it all the data. But when it comes to a lot of these blue-collar things, there's a stigma that goes with it. Like owning a plumbing company. Or, like working your way up through that somehow that is not as cool as having a degree. Like, man, if you don't have a degree, you're going to be nothing. Well, everybody has a degree. And guess what? Everybody comes out of college. What are they? They're pissed. Can't find a job. They're already in the hole, 40, 50, 100, 150,000. And they're struggling. Before they can even think about buying a house, doing something like that, they're already in a position where they're in, behind the 8 ball. So be prepared for that. More and more kids are going to be going that way. And you're going to see parents. I mean, like I said, I'm not just like the one, but even his mom, my son's mom, who has 2 master's degrees. She's super smart. She said, I was happy that he wanted to go off and get a trade. Because it's something. And the pooping thing, I keep telling you guys that.
It's not going away.
It's just not going away. Yeah, not all Americans are going to be doctors. No, they're not. They're not all going to be doctors. Not everybody we need to stop telling kids that they all need to go to college. That's also the lie. You really need to go to college. Let's be honest. Can we look at some kids and go, Timmy, no. No, you don't even need to go to junior college because it's just an extension of their childhood for a lot of these people. You pay a ton of money to go to school and do what? Like, where'd you go to school, Mason? You went to college, right? Didn't you?
I went for a year and a half before ducking out because it wasn't for me. I went for that year and a half with no major. Didn't see a reason to go there. Was intimidated by everybody else, feeling like they had their plans threaded out and whatnot. It's like, this isn't for me. So I ended up backing out, going back home, living with my parents for a while, working a lot, and then finally was able to move out, and here I am, stuck with you guys.
Oh, that's great. But you realize, like, in the middle of it, it's, what am I getting out of this?
Yeah. I was wasting a lot of money going to classes that I did not care about.
Yeah. It's not like one thing I'd like to see college do is slim down. You don't need a general degree.
No.
Astrology, geology. What are you doing? My mom, she's got her degree in psychology.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, I took 2 psychology courses, and I took astrology, geology. Why? I would rather have taken 20 courses of psychology and stuff like in counseling than all the other stuff.
It's money.
It's money.
It's money.
It is. Big time. It is. It's crazy. Coming up, yes, and I don't think all college is a scam, by the way. Somebody said college is a scam. I think some are. But I think for the most part, the education system's broken and we need to fix it. And that includes college. And you could go around the world. When you get to a certain age, they start moving you to a place where you think, okay, look, you're great with your hands. You're not good with the books. You'd be great at this. Maybe we'll think about getting you an apprenticeship somewhere and start moving kids at 14, 16 towards those kind of things. And I think that would be a better way to do it. Right now, we teach for the past. We teach a little bit for the present. We never teach for the future. A lot of people chiming in about what's going on in their world when it comes to blue-collar work. Somebody says, my best friend's a pipe fitter, makes $39 an hour.
Yeah.
This guy wins it, though. He went and became a union sheet metal worker, HVAC, 27 years, makes over $100K a year and has for the last 17 years with a pension and almost a $1 million annuity.
Wow.
And great health care.
He should have gone to college.
Yeah. And he says he's 6 foot tall and 165 pounds. So he's not fat.
Right.
But you know what, though? 27 years ago, he could have gone to college for 2 gooseberries.
Yeah.
Not $14,000 a unit.
Right.
When I walk home, I walk by 30 people that are going either they've gone to Vanderbilt or they're going there. And I just think,
yep.
150,000, 200,000, you already own a house, but you don't even know it because really it's just a degree. And it's crazy. What were you spending as far as your school?
Mine was, $24,000 a year.
Whew.
Yeah.
That is expensive.
Yeah.
All to be a dancer?
Listen, this free form doesn't come naturally. It's taught. But I had a little bit of talent.
All to be a dancer.
Yeah, I didn't do well in competitions.
No, it was interpretive dance.
I don't look good in spandex.
in Mandex. It's not spandex, baby. When we wear it, it's Mandex.
Mandex, baby.
The cost of college nowadays is just
it's nuts.
It is. It's crazy. And some things you need a degree for, law. You need a degree in law. Healthcare, obviously. By the way, the only sector that grew, if it wasn't for healthcare right now, all of our jobs would be because healthcare is, again, we're getting sick still.
Yeah,
we do.
Somebody said living longer.
Morticians, they always got work.
Yep, well, they do.
So,
yeah, my brother spent 6 years in school because he kept either shifting degrees slightly. He was still in art, but he would either not have enough science credits or not enough history credits to be able to pass his art degree. And so they had to keep shifting things around, and he would ended up spending a lot more money. And he ended up not even getting his animation degree, not getting his painting degree or his teaching degree, just a general art degree. It's like,
that is,
I am so sorry for you.
And now he'll owe money for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
He could live to be 5. You know why they're going to try to keep everybody alive long as they can? To get all their money back they loaned them. That's why.